Good day, my literary friends. Today I have in my hand a very extraordinary novel. The name of this novel is Of Human Bondage, written by William Morris Maugham. And this is an extraordinary novel, a very rare. I couldn't find this book in bookshops, but I found it after a hard labor. I found it from a bookshop and I purchased this novel. And this is my utmost intention and my wishes to talk about this novel. Again, I'm telling you the name of this novel, Of Human Bondage, by William Morris Maugham. So, William Morris Maugham, he born in Paris in 1874 and he died in 1965. So he was a English novelist, playwright, and a storyteller, a short story writer also, Of Human Bondage. So this is a semi-autobiographical novel published in 1915 and considered his masterwork. It is a perspective depiction of emotional isolation of a young man and his eventual insight into life. This is a sad, tragic story of a young man who faced physical hardship. He was a clubfoot. He born so this book begins with the death of a 9-year-old Philip mother. When he born, he was 9 years old when his mother died. Helen, the name of his mother was Helen. A few months after the passing of his father, Philip, who was a clubfoot, is sent to live with his Aunt Lucia and Uncle William Carey. While Lucia does her best to welcome this boy, William treats him coldly. His Uncle William treats him very coldly. Philip takes refuge into his new home. Vast collection of books was on his disposal. He is sent to a boarding school where the kids make fun of him because of his foot. As I told you before, he born as a clubfoot. So because of his foot, he prays to God to cure him, not knowing what to do with the cruelty he faced with. William wants Philip to go to Oxford, for which he can get a scholarship. But Philip set on going to Germany. The name of the protagonist and the hero of this novel is Philip. He wants to go to Germany, convince his aunt and uncle to allow this. He enjoys his time in Germany, living with a German professor and other foreigners who expand his views on religion and morality. When he returns, his aunt and uncle arrange for him to be an appropriate accountant in London. So Philip does not enjoy the work and feels lonely in the city after a visit to Paris. He decides to move there and becomes an artist. Despite his uncle's objection, he is financially cut off for this decision, but does make many new friends among Paris' Bohemian artistic society. Among these is Fanny Price, a girl that is generally disliked for being conceited. Philip does not have liking him. She falls in love with him. Fanny was a good artist, a feeling he does not return, and she commits suicide because Philip was very cold toward Fanny. And what happened? Broken-heartedly, she commits suicide. Soon after she realizes he's thinking to leave. So Fanny's suicide shakes Philip, making him question his artistic ability. Returning to England for his aunt's funeral, he chooses to stay and following in his father's footsteps, study medicine. He studied medicine. He struggled in his studies but enjoys them. He meets Mildred, a rude, dismissive, and unattractive waitress, and is immediately taken with her despite her flaws. That girl, that waitress girl, she does not like Philip. They begin to see each other regularly. Mildred allows Philip to buy her things and occasionally kiss her, but otherwise does not show any real signs of affections for Philip. As I told you that she does not love Philip. Philip loves very dearly the girls, that waitress girl. She soon breaks his heart by announcing she's getting to another man. Philip meets and starts a relationship with Nora Nisbet, a kind and smart girl that helps him heal, but from whom he doesn't feel the same all-consuming love he felt for Mildred. Anyhow, but Philip loved Mildred, a waitress girl, very much. Instead, the other girl, Nora, she loves Philip very much. So this is an irony of fate. You love somebody, but she does not respond with the same affection to you. And on the other side, some other person come to you and love you dearly, but you have not the same affection with her. So this is an irony of fate. Anyhow, Philip never married her. Philip leaves Nora, deciding to support Mildred, even though he does not have much money. Mildred meets and falls in love with Harry Griffith, another man, and the two run away together, once again breaking Philip's heart. He throws himself into his work and tries to rekindle his relationship with Nora. Only to find she is now engaged, he makes new friends and carries on with his life, forming new conclusions about the meaning of life through his attraction with his patients. About a few years later, Philip meets Mildred during a trip to London. She is a prostitute on the street. She turns out as a prostitute because she was a very selfish woman, Nora and Mildred. So she became a prostitute. He realizes he no longer loves her. He nonetheless takes her in, offering her a job as his housemaid. She is not interested in working and simply takes the money and shelter. Again, Mildred, Philip loves because he loves him dearly. Very sincere man with a sincere heart, Mildred. But she again, despite her great kindness and help, she again get cold towards him, offering her a job as a housemaid. She's not interested in working and simply takes the money and shelter. Meanwhile, Philip makes a bit of money on the stock exchange and uses to get an operation for his foot because he was a club foot, suffering from physical disability. Philip is clear that he simply wants to be friends which makes Mildred determined to get him to love her again. Often, when he refuses her, she runs away from him again. Having spent a lot of money on her, he tries to get some of it back by speculating again, but loses it all when the stock crashes. Philip became destitute and forced to live on the street. He is rescued by a friend and a former patient, Thorpe Altany. Altany gives Philip a job and takes him into the home soon after his uncle dies. Uncle William dies, and leaving him enough money to return to his medical studies. He does well and is offered a medical partnership in the practice of a Dr. South, but initially refuses since he yearns to travel. During a trip with Altany, he realizes that Sally Altany, the daughter of Altany, one of the daughters, likes him, and they shared a night together. When she later tells him she is pregnant, he decides to marry her and accept the offer from Dr. South. As it turns out, the pregnancy was a false alarm, which leads Philip to realize that he is in fact yearning for a family. Philip wants to have a family, to live a normal life. He chooses to marry her nonetheless, coming to the conclusion that his lifelong search for happiness can be satisfied by a personal family life. So, Of the Human Bondage is considered William Morris Maugham masterpiece and has become a widely studied classic. So this once I saw a movie of Betty Davis in it is the movie Hollywood had made a movie on this novel of Human Bondage, starring Betty Davis, another great actor. So in 1934, a long time since, I think 10 years before, I feel much impressed, and this novel, this story jolted me. So I searched for this novel, to get this novel and to read it. When I read this novel, I think this is a very amazing novel, an autobiographical and a very beautiful, lively, and a very stunning story in this novel. I suggest that whoever loves literature and wants to read a good novel in his life, he must study this Of the Human Bondage by William Morris Maugham. So I think you will enjoy this novel. Thank you very much for